What's up, guys? Today I'm going to go over some different influences over how I program. You've heard me talk about Dan John's 5 movements before. Always, if it's a full body workout, there'll be an upper body push, an upper body pull, a squat movement, a hinge movement, and then some sort of carry. When we go like Joe Kent's tier system, we're going to look really simplified explaining this. We'll just look at a 3-day approach. Talking tier 1's normally your main movement. Is going to have a higher focus on it. Tier 2 is your next priority, and then tier 3 is your assistant stuff. So what we're looking at is like day 1, you might go total lower upper, and what happens in between days is it just shifts the focus. So then the next day, we drop that total all the way down, lower moves up 1, upper moves up 1. And then your last day, the same thing occurs. So it's a way to manage the volume on a particular muscle group or like lower body or upper body. You're just changing the focus from day to day to limit your volume and allow you to train effectively throughout. Now, Rapid Sports Performance, where I interned, has a major influence when it comes to like what I consider prep work, where we're going through after our warm-up, and our sprinting. We're going through your plyos and your med ball work. For anyone that knows me, knows how much I love throwing med balls, and that comes from Rapid Sports Performance, as well as I love unilateral lower body patterns. It's one of the only places I've been to where there wasn't really, outside of a trap bar deadlift, it was all unilateral for the lower body, so single leg movements. Now, another influence was during like 2020, I did a Diamondbacks virtual experience where we went through like weekly different things, but the main takeaway I had from that, DDSSWYA, don't do stupid shit with your athletes. So it's always when I'm programming and looking at the athlete I'm working with, what's worst case scenario? Is the way I look at it. Because the number one thing that matters is, are they available to compete or actually play? So when we're talking about that, I see it a lot on Instagram or like Twitter, where you see like a unique different exercise where it's really what's the risk they're putting the athlete at. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is there value in what you're doing, and what's the worst case scenario if it goes wrong? You should always think that. The biggest influence is probably my mentor, Jake Carney. Like, he taught me embedded testing, where instead of testing once a semester with an athlete at the beginning, at the end, I can consistently test to see, are we improving in the metrics that matter? Why would I want to know if we're improving? Because what happens if I need to change course? Is what we're doing working? Then it's think line of force. So one of the things he's taught me is like, don't think of it from like just pure exercises. It's how can we train the line of force we're looking to work. So it allows more creativity in your exercises. If you're measuring if things are working, you'll know like maybe this exercise that I came up with is helping, or maybe it's not. Maybe we need to pivot. Along with that, it's the flow of the room when it comes to like large groups matters. It also matters in like a personal training setting when you're in a gym. So a lot of times I don't program for the optimal situation. It's how can I flow throughout the room where it doesn't create problems or having to fight for equipment or creating a logjam. He also introduced me to Jovanovic, which was a lot of different things I can explain, but it's always one of the biggest things I've taken from Jovanovic is large world versus small world. It's optimal versus what suffices. So not everything is ever going to be optimal. You're never going to be in an optimal setting. You're never going to be able to plan things optimally. You're going to have to make changes, and it's what will work for the situation, not necessarily what is the best thing in the world to do. It's how can we accomplish this task the way we need to accomplish it. And one of the last things, I'm sure there's lots of others that I'm missing in this, but the book, The One Thing. I always go into a workout thinking, if we could only do one thing today, what is it going to be? With like a lot of my athletes, if I had to cut everything and could do one thing, it might be just speed work, it might be just plyos. That could be it for the day. Or med ball throws with like a baseball athlete. If it's a pitcher, all I have is time to do is one thing. I'd rather do rotational med ball throws. That's where we're getting the most value towards the sport. That's what needs to get done. Because we got to think, what's the meat and potatoes of the workout? If we have to cut things, what matters? When you're looking at it like 80-20 rule, 80% of the results are going to come from 20% of the stuff we do. So what is the most important things we need to address in the workout for our client or our athlete? And that's just some of the influences that have influenced me.